this is Michelle from Jasami Publishing with part 2 of our interview with Paul Wandrum, and now we're going to include Megan Wandrum in more of this. So welcome to the next episode of Jasami Bookworm Podcast. Welcome, Paul and Megan.
Hello. Hi, Michelle.
So the first part of the podcast that we had done the other week was about the writing process.
Yes.
So then you decided to self-publish. Now, what was your next step doing there, Paul?
Well, when I decided to self-publish, before I'd seen sites like such as Lulu.com, things like that, but I wanted to self-publish more locally, especially so I looked in the area of the Glasgow area. The self-publishers, there actually weren't all that many, and that's when I came by Jasami Publishing, who seemed really, really professional. You know, I looked at some of their work and stuff as well, so and that's when I sent off the inquiry to basically self-publish. That was the way forward for me.
Well, wonderful. We're delighted. We are, it's our home for authors, and so that's why we've decided to expand into it. As a traditional publisher, we've got the values and the processes that can support self-publishing, I think, in a more intrinsic way. So that's important to us. So I'm very glad that you reached out to us.
It was great to find self-publishing in Glasgow because it was actually quite scarce when I was looking online, to find companies that actually do both traditional publishing and self-publishing at the same time.
Yes, and that's very important to us because we want to make sure that all the authors have the best benefits to it. So it will also be about publishing. Now you've done the creation of the work, and Megan will be more involved in every other aspect of it, which we're going to talk about in a moment. So you decided on Jasami Publishing. We thank you. And so you started with the creation. So you brought us the book, and now the first step is the editing process.
Yes.
Please tell us about the editing process that you've worked through and how new it is to you, because I know your other books have been nonfiction, but you've had, I'm sure, an editor with that. How has it been for you in editing?
It's actually been really, really exciting. At first I thought it'd be quite daunting, but obviously I was working alongside Douglas, pretty much reworking the story, more detail to the characters, more backstory. The pages are going up, which is actually quite good. It just feels more in depth. I'm getting to pull more out of it than what I did before, especially with the editing process. I've been really, really enjoying it. Yeah.
Excellent. Douglas is great. He's a great editor. We love working with him. What was the most important point you think that he brought out regarding editing?
Just pretty much how better the work could actually be when you just kind of go back and think about certain things, and would that really happen? Would that maybe you want to kind of think about that more, so that was pretty much it. You just go more in, pretty much in depth, more accuracy, Yeah, it was really, really good. So, and I think it's actually overall it's made a better novel of it as well, so definitely, so. Mm-hmm.
That's good because that's the intent is to make it the very best it can be.
That's it. Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So you've created it, and now for the rest of the story, as we like to say, Megan, we'll talk about you'll be involved in formatting paperback and digital. How do you feel about that?
It's daunting to think about because kind of when I started supporting Paul, it was always when we'd be arguing with Microsoft Word because lines would jump and would have gaps, but it was kind of learning how to deal with those, so I'm just excited to keep going basically and supporting Paul with us.
So when you think about formatting a book, what comes to mind?
Lines jumping and trying to kind of make sure that they're all going to balance out, making sure that punctuation and the line spaces are all sitting perfectly for the reader.
Yep. And you get to be a little creative with it, won't you?
Yes, definitely.
Yep.
Looking forward to it.
There is a process to formatting a book because then you're going to get to select the font.
Yeah. And
then, certain little aspects to it to make it better. The process of what goes on what page and, the the actual format of the book itself, number of pages. So that's a lot to go. Is there a difference between the paperback and the digital?
Yes, there is.
So you get to go through that process as well, which we're not going to tell anyone. They just have to work on it yourselves, or come to Tasami. That's a great idea.
Definitely.
So with the daunting, now you are more into social media, so this is really your bailiwick.
Yes.
And what are you going to start out with?
So right now we are promoting Instagram mainly. We're pushing our Instagram quite bigly. We're linking up with influencers who are going to read the book and give reviews on it. And we're going to, over the coming months, we're going to be putting out some teasers as well for the front cover. And we'll be branching onto TikTok as well.
Excellent. Now you've enjoyed doing this before. You've been on social media for a while.
Yeah.
So the creative ideas are just flowing.
Yes, I absolutely love sitting on Canva and just creating the ideas for things that we can put on to publish and just get Paul's name out there.
Which is wonderful, because it's that's a foundation. That's the support to growing the book and the readership for it. So with TikTok, those are the short videos.
Yeah.
So how long do they run about?
On average, it's about 30 seconds for a TikTok video.
So do you have some ideas that you might run for those 30 seconds?
Yes, I've got quite a lot of ideas that Paul's going to be involved in with me.
Any little teasers?
So we'll have some teasers of Paul sharing his kind of creative ideas and his aspects of his writing, and there'll be a lot more going on that people just have to follow to see.
There's a on-location idea, which is
we have
on-site in Glasgow. Just think of let's just say Glasgow Cathedral. That's about it. That's what I'm giving away. So.
Oh, this is news to me. I haven't heard about this. Oh, that's fantastic. Oh, I love that idea. You really do have great ideas.
Yeah, so this is going to be, next couple of weeks we'll be getting our ideas together and getting out there.
Oh, wonderful. So then there's TikTok and Instagram, which are all very important. And then there's through different distribution channels. So if people want to have little teasers on the book itself, I think it's going to be available on
Wattpad.
Excellent. That's a great venue for people to be able to see little parts of books. Sometimes there's short stories on there, and so all they have to do is look up Paul Wandrum.
Yep.
And then follow on there and see those books. So that's wonderful. And I'm sure other ideas will be coming through, which we can list in futures.
Yes.
And you follow Dasami on Instagram.
Yeah.
We followed you back because we love to know what's going on with our authors, such as the on-site locations. I think that's great to be out in the world.
Yep.
And involved in more of that. How did that work with Paul? Did you approach Megan to do the work, or did she actually volunteer?
Actually, Megan used to help me out with my history project stuff as well. She used to actually format my Kindle books,
yes.
putting them up on. Yeah, we had a lot of issues. We had some issues with that as well. When somebody asked how come you managed to get numbers on a Kindle book.
Yeah, so it was. Yeah, it was all about trial and error at the start.
It was trial and
when
error.
We were doing it.
Yeah, so.
And then through lockdown, when Paul was writing away, I was like, I'll promote it on Instagram for you. I'll do a Facebook.
Yeah. Share the post.
Yeah.
Like that. Yeah. So.
Excellent. Well, it's wonderful, and it's important to have that kind of support, especially with self-publishing.
Absolutely.
I know that we're going to be providing guidance when it comes to formatting in the book, and then also when it comes to the digital and such to make it easier. I know uploading to Kindle can be a bit challenging, and we have a few tips and tricks to use there to make it easier. So those page numbers do go away. And then the linking so it actually, when you click on the table of contents, it goes where it's supposed to. And yes, there's all those lovely aspects to working on the books that nobody, I think, somebody who hasn't published themselves don't realize the work that goes into books. And in fact, I think a lot of authors, when they go to publishers, the only aspect that they're really involved in, well, first they create the book, and then, of course, everybody has to market it. And that was described once as the difference. A writer writes the book, an author actually has to go out and promote the book.
Yeah.
And so you will be a published author. and it will be available, which I'm very excited to say. So eventually, once it's published on
Amazon.
And we're going to offer it on the Jasami Books website as well, and then also direct sales. The digital will be available
Kindle.
Yeah.
on Amazon as well.
Amazon Kindle.
Yep, and then so everybody will be able to read it eventually on all the formats. So we'll have paperback and digital available, which is fantastic. So now that you know all the work that goes behind it, is that writing the book, Paul, is only part of it. Once you become the author, how do you feel about that?
I'll just describe it as a journey. It's just an exceptional journey. So I'm just glad to be a part of it. Mm-hmm.
It is a journey. There's the steps. A lot of people. What was the one thing that you didn't know about?
It's been numbers. Yeah.
Yes.
The importance of that, in that owning your own ISBN number opens the world to you.
Because actually went to shops, retail, that's it, yeah, absolutely.
And libraries.
And libraries as well, yes, that's great, yeah. Libraries too.
You want, like they did the book at Breakfast with Tiffany's, which I love that movie, and they go into the library, and she's so excited because she can get his book at the library, which your book will eventually be available there. Very important to know. And who will be filing the information in order to be able to do that, Megan? To be able to access it at the library?
Yeah, I'll be doing all that.
Yes, apparently your job has grown quite a bit, Megan.
It has grown legs and ran.
Yeah.
Well, this is a journey, and I'm delighted that you guys make such a wonderful team for doing it, for self-publishing. And while this is a new service that Dasami is offering, I'm really excited about it because I think it will provide many writers the opportunity to keep their own creation, but with the proper guidance of a traditional publisher.
Yeah.
And help that. I know the editing process can be daunting, but I think you've been enjoying it.
I have been enjoying it, yeah, absolutely, yeah. Mm-hmm.
And have you learned a few things, Megan, that you weren't sure before?
Definitely. I feel as if now I'm more kind of tech savvy on Instagram and know how to promote a lot better now, and just learning every day now.
Yes, and the formatting.
Yeah, and formatting's a completely new one to me that I'm now learning more and more about that I'm feeling confident in now.
Excellent. So all right. Do not set up a separate publishing company. I don't want that kind of competition. Do not want to hear about that. Well, this is the podcast that I hope will inspire all of the writers to go out there. And even if you don't come to us, that you will, if you self-publish on your own. The one thing I do want to mention, when you did come to Dasami, you didn't need a cover. Please tell us about that, Paul.
Yes, I'd actually researched professional cover designs online, and there was a fantastic wee website called Fiverr. I think it's Fiverr, is that correct?
Fiverr.
Yeah, Fiverr. And I looked through some portfolios of cover designs on there, and I found a fantastic cover designer. She's called Olivia Pro Design, so that's a shout out to her. So, she's worked on my cover, and it looks great. A couple of more wee things we need to kind of do, but that's pretty much the cover I wanted. So, yeah.
I have to say I was most impressed with that. The cover that you have now is very evocative and really will grab the reader. And that's very important when you go out and you're advertising the book, because the first thing most people see is that cover, obviously, because that's what's there, and then they have to open the book, but the cover can draw people in. And when I saw that cover, I was drawn in. I thought that was absolutely fantastic. We will have a link in the description for anybody who's interested in chatting with her about a cover design. That's the best part about self-publishing, is when you go to someone, you don't have to have everything done. It's only what you need and what's required.
Yes.
So that cover is gorgeous. I really do like that. I really love the fact that the cover reveal will be a slow one.
I'm very excited to start revealing it to you all.
I can't wait. I think that's really going to draw people into it. So you've gone through the process. So you started with the cover. Now we've got the written part with the editing.
Yep.
And then, Megan, you're going to cover the marketing aspects of it, and then the technical behind the scenes of where to go, where it's going to be advertised, where it's going to be available, and through the library. And that is the numbers being purchased. They're not the cheapest thing on the planet, but it's important for an author who wants to retain the ownership and control that they do have that ISBN number.
Yeah, very important. Yeah.
And that was something. Did you know that before you?
No, I did
became-
not. No, I did not. No, I didn't. No.
So there's a lot of things that go on behind the scene in the publishing world that isn't known, and of course we want to educate everybody as best we can. So I thank you, Paul and Megan, for joining
Thank
us
you.
today.
Thank you, Michelle.
Great.
Now what we'll do is, Megan, I get to put you on the spot for your shout out. Who would you like to do a shout out to?
I'd like to shout out to everyone that's supporting, whether it's their partner, their brother, any family member who is a writer, because we are there supporting them and just helping them get this dream, and it's just great to give that support.
Excellent.
That's a great shout out. Thanks very much. Thank you. That's great.
Your turn, Paul. Who would you like to do your shout out to?
Probably to my Uncle John, who's at work today. So, but he wished me all the best with this interview today. So, or my podcast interview. So yeah.
Excellent. All right. And my shout out is to Douglas, who's working on the editing for this book. He's been a great inspiration and support to the company. And so I want just to thank you for that. Again, this is Michelle at Dasami Bookworm Podcast. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Megan.
Thanks
you,
again.
Michelle.
Thank you.
And I hope you've enjoyed our podcast, both of them. If you have any questions, obviously you know where to get us. And Michelle, Dasami Bookworm Podcast, as always, wishing you a sunny day.